Welcome to the Fictional Focus. I'm Nick, and I didn't feel like doing the whole intro thing, normal video. I just want to get right into it. We got a lot of stuff to go over. So, this is a new tabletop homebrew video making the Cradle RPG from the Marvel Multiverse RPG. So, we're just going to jump right into it. If you're confused and don't know what's going on, there'll be on one of the sides, a little card thing for the playlist of the TTRPG homebrew stuff. So let's get into it. So before made the Madra list, the different types of Madra, but I hadn't put in all the effects. So now I went through and I put in all the different effects that they do. So basically, whenever you get a fateful success on a roll using a Madra type, or if you have something that just says it does the effect of the Madra, this is what happens. Each one has their own different kind of thing. Target is pinned for one round, target is knocked prone, stunned, they're bleeding, it heals yourself a little bit, blinds for one round, sets them ablaze. It does all the different elements do different things. So then that infers like, oh, I want to have this kind of element because it does this kind of thing. And then if you do two, most likely probably just gonna have it though. You pick one of the effects and maybe you can like change it, or it depends on what kind of thing you're doing. So that's basically that. Put that down in there. And then I'm pretty sure you can see down here at the bottom, this is my all my stuff for the Cradle RPG. Nodra types, we got the character sheet in there. And we're going to be going over occupations and traits today. And the Madra type, the effects, at least just showing it a little bit. All right, so occupations. So basically, when you're making a character, because I'll probably have a whole video about character creation. But at the beginning, you'd pick if you're a human or a sacred beast. And the sacred beast thing is going to be a whole entire thing. So if you're a human, you pick your occupation then. And so you'd pick from this list of occupations basically what job you have or like what you do for a living, occupation. And then I'm trying to say there's a tag you can have a second occupation. So say you're a sect member, you could also be a spy. You're a spy for that sect, or you're a spy for a different sect in that sect or something. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. So all of these are from Marvel Multiverse, except for these last three: sect member, clan family member, soulsmith. Those are like Cradle specific ones. And I might give them more traits and tags later on as I'm going through because they can get more stuff. Basically, yeah, you'd pick an occupation, then you would get the trait and the tags that go along with it. So that's just free traits and tags that you get, and that's just for character stuff. And we'll go over the traits in a minute. And you can pick multiple pick. Oh, I think you can pick I think two. But so basically, these are things that I feel would exist in the Cradle like universe, whatever you want to say. And I guess that's basically it. Like, pick law enforcement / military, leader, outsider, spy, journalist, investigator, healer, entertainer, educator, criminal, assassin, adventurer. And then, like, if you picked adventurer, you would get the fearless trait, which if we run over here real quick, you would get the fearless trait, which then the character has an edge on any action checks required to deal with fear. And then you also get the tag, black market access, which I don't have any of the tags really set up right now. But basically, that gives you access to under the black market, which we all know what the black market is. And then, like, assassin, you have connections criminal, as in, like, you can. I have it down here. Connections. Connections. By making a mind check, the character can call on their contact to provide help in the form of clues, information, or resources. The narrator determines the TN, which is target number, of the mind check based on the favor requested. A narrator is the term that Marvel Multiverse uses, and I like it. It's fine. Narrator. I mean, it's based on a book series. Cradle is a book series, so the RPG is based on a book series. So narrator makes perfect sense for that. So I'm gonna stick with narrator. But basically, you make a mind check, and it determines if you can how well you can call for help and stuff. And then there's different like criminal, then you're calling criminals for stuff. Community, there's all kinds of different connections. Outsiders, clan, family, sect. And there's like law enforcement one. Oh, there isn't a law enforcement one. Probably, see, that's another thing. I'll probably add that in. Connections like military or whatever, like you could call backup. Well, I mean, that's what that is, backup. I don't know. In Cradle, they have communication constructs. So, like, backup is you literally you call for backup. So you would just send a communication construct to call for backup. But yeah, so anyway, so during the character creation process, you would pick an occupation, and then there's a trait, I think. Yeah, right there, trait. Extra occupation. The character can choose another occupation. So if you pick that trait, then you can go back and you can create or you can pick another occupation. And then you would get, like, say you're an adventurer, and then you also pick educator. Then you would get connections community, font of information, and presence. So you just get extra traits and tags based on, and then it also kind of that's like, inferring how your character is, because now you're not just like a regular I'm gonna go fight things adventurer. You're also an educator, so your character should be wanting to educate people and wanting when you meet somebody who doesn't know something, you're like, oh, I want to teach them. I want to be an educator, sort of thing. So it goes along with character, how your character would act. So now we move on to the traits. So way to obtain traits as part of an occupation or as an extra trait, because for each occupation you get different traits, and then you can get the character gets one extra trait for every rank they have. So then after you have the occupation, you get those traits. Then, like, say you're rank 5 or whatever, then you can get 5 extra traits on top of that. So this is the list of traits. They're all from Marvel Multiverse. I haven't made any original ones yet. I might, like, later on go back and make a couple original traits that are more like Cradle centric. But I went through and picked out the ones I think make sense for Cradle that would, characters would have. And then, like, this one, battle ready. Character is always ready for battle. Add plus 10 Madra. Of course, it was originally focus, so I just changed it to Madra. And then, like, I went through and changed, all what the different skills are and stuff. And this is big. That's land on big. Is the only one. See, I put requirements here, and it's the only one that has a special requirement. Because big is the character size is big, which applies -1 to their strength and speed defenses, add +1 to their run speed, and increases their reach to 2. As in now your character is large, or, well, big is the word they use, the term they use. So it's not just because when you're making your character, you make a human, or you pick a human, or you make a sacred beast, and the human, they're all generally around the same size. For the game, like, if you're a human, you're about the same size. It's fun. It's like, average, normal, medium, whatever the term is. And then if you're a sacred beast, though, depending on the sacred beast, like if you're a sacred elephant, you're not going to be the size of a normal person. You're big, so you're gonna like that. You're not your strength and your speed defenses are a little lower, but you can move faster because you're so big. You have bigger stride and stuff, and of course your reach is longer. But that's the only one that has a requirement that you need to be a certain kind of sacred beast that is actually a bigger size. Otherwise, you're just a normal size. But every single other one, you don't need to be a specific thing. Like, a lot of these you'll get from different occupations, but say you're let's just go back. You're the adventure educator. Well, you don't get clinician. Is that how you pronounce it? Clinician. But say you're like, oh well, I worked with a healer at one point, so then now I know a little bit of medical stuff. So then the character has an edge on mind checks to determine what is medically wrong with someone they examine. You'd be like, oh, I've been on the road. I'm an adventurer, an educator. I've been on the road for a long time, and I've met a lot of doctors, and I taught them some stuff, and they taught me some stuff. So now I have a little bit of medical knowledge. I'm more than like the average person. Of course, if you picked, because there's a healer, yeah, you get first aid and clinician, which first aid also gives you the character as an edge on mind checks to stop bleeding. Of course, you can pick those, not be a healer, which, I mean, I don't know. I'll probably throw some extra tags in here, the blank ones, just so, and then maybe there'll be something for the healer. They get well, because the tags, that's the thing. The traits are something that actually affects your stats or gives you edges on things. And the traits are basically just, oh, my character looks weird, or my character is, it's something that is like story driven or like for role playing purposes, essentially out of combat or not for any kind of checks or anything. But these are mostly for stuff for checks and for, I think there's a couple combat ones. Gives you like an extra reaction or has an edge on initiative checks, sneaky, different kinds of stuff like that. Oh, go back to the traits. Yeah, so that's the list of traits. That's how you get them. That's how many you can have. These are the different traits that I've picked out from the Marvel ones for the Cradle RPG. Now, and we'll look at the tags a little bit. I started on the tags. There's no limit to the number of tags a character can have because they don't actually affect combat in any way, and they don't affect checks in any way. It's basically just like, here's like an example. Like you have authority. The character has legal authority of some kind. They might be part of a military, a powerful family, and so on. It's just to kind of give you an idea of your character, flesh out your character a bit. Then backup. Character is part of an organization. The character is part of an organization that they can call for immediate backup at any time. You don't need to make any kind of check. You don't need, it doesn't affect combat anyway, other than you're calling for backup. But then who knows how long the backup could take. The narrator could determine, oh, the backup doesn't show up until either the battle's over or, you know, at the end of the combat, or, it could make it so there isn't even combat. You meet somebody, they call for backup. I called for backup, and then that could scare, intimidate. Then maybe you do like an intimidation check, which would be, I don't know what stat that would use in this. Probably just mind. That was the thing I was getting into with the traits, is that because I took away ego, mind basically has to take over all of that stuff. Because willpower doesn't really, like, it kind of works like that, but kind of, I don't know. Maybe we'll change it later on. So that's all the traits, all the list of traits, and I'm working on the tags, and I'll probably make a couple like original traits to throw in there, more, I guess, Cradle centric. I don't know. If I, that's the thing, if I figure out something that works and that's cool, then cool. If not, then I won't. I don't need to make extra traits just for the sake of making extra traits. Like in the tags too. I'm gonna go through all the list of tags, and I'm gonna pick out the ones that I think make sense for Cradle, and all the other ones I'm just not gonna use. And if I think of some original ones that make sense, then I'll put them in. If not, then it is what it is. And then these, some of more, well, in the Marvel Multiverse, some of these more had requirements, but I'll look through. I might not even need to give them any requirements. You might just be able to use whatever tag you want. And then like the traits, the only requirement is this one. All the rest of them, you can have them no matter what. It doesn't matter. Like you can always have some kind of explanation as to why you have it. So that's might be it, really. So we've gotten the Madra and the Madra types. I got the character sheet worked out for the most part. It might change a little bit here and there. Oh, I don't know why that's not blue. Occupation. We got the occupations all set up. Might add some extra tags to here and might add a little bit more to the ones that I made. The sect member, family member, clan member, soulsmith. Might give them a little extra things. And then got all the traits ready. Working on the tags. We have advancement levels. I have our little, all the different ranks, levels, whatever you want to call them. And then our proto path techniques. So we're chugging right along. Just need to work on the tags, and then we'll probably do a video all about the actual character creation process. Maybe I'll make I'll make Lyndon the main character, since I already have the Path of Black Flame. I'll start at the beginning and work through the process of making the character. That might be a whole video. So that's gonna be it for this TTRPG Homebrew Cradle RPG video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Instagram. Check out the podcast. Till next week. Bye.